Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Morgan. Bid you all welcome back to Gothic 2. Don't really have much of a plan for this one today, but last episode we basically wrapped up everything we can do on the farm for now. We got all the approvals from all of the mercenaries that we can, but since we're not joining the mercenaries, that's not really that important to us. But it will be for when I hopefully end up doing some of the, both of the other factions as kind of their, as auxiliary walkthroughs, I suppose. But someone reminded me that we got to speak with Thekla now that we've beat up old Bronco. Thekla is actually quite pleased with us.
You really let Bronco have it, honey.
Sure did.
Must have been an exhausting job to thrash that fat swine. Here, have a bite to eat so you'll gain back your strength.
Ooh, tasty stew.
Can I have some more of your stew?
I haven't got any now.
Not even a tiny bowl?
No.
Can I lick the pot then?
Will you cut it out? If you're so keen on my stew, you'll have to do something to get it.
What?
Go see Sagita, the healer who lives behind Sekob's farm, and bring me a package of her herbs. If you bring me the herbs, I'll make you some stew.
Herbs for stew? Sounds like a good trade. Although I wonder, why do we need herbs from a strange witch in the woods? I would imagine any herbs appropriate for your stew you could probably grow just in the garden or on the farm somewhere. But I guess that's what makes her stew so special. And the other thing we gotta do is let Pepe know that Bronco got what he had coming. Which is something he's gonna want to hear. Hey, Pepe.
Bronco got what was coming to him. I've taught him a lesson.
The swine deserved it.
Sure did.
How are you? And how are your sheep?
I'm fine, and so are the sheep. That is...
Yeah, we know. So, someday we'll be back to buy a sheep from him. But that is not today. Now, if you press out into the woods here, there's actually a cave out there. We'll visit that later, because we can't really clear it right now. You can get some stuff to start with, but I don't really feel like going there and then having to come back. For the record, if you're starving for XP, raw meat, or skins for Bosper, as long as you're out of eyeshot, you can really have your way with all these sheep out here. And when I say have your way, I mean please make it merciful. Don't be a mud. Anyway, could go see what's down that valley a ways, which I think we will. Thought about putting it off, but why don't we do it now? It's actually a decent amount of XP that can be had down there, as well as an interesting fellow who is pretty much of no real practical use, but is just out here to be out here. See, there's a little camp here. You see a gentlemanly woodcutter. I say gentlemanly, he's more of a big burly rustic sort of man, but...
Hey! Everything all right?
Ah, an unfamiliar wanderer. I am very busy, so what do you want?
What are you doing here?
Well, the things a woodcutter and hunter usually do.
What interesting things are there to see here?
Interesting is well put. If you go deeper into the woods here, you'll run into some very evil fellows. They're about 10 feet tall, hairy, and in a really bad mood. So don't go there if you're not strong enough for them.
Sounds interesting. But we will shortly prove that it's not strength that counts in this situation.
Can you teach me something about hunting?
Sure, but first get me something decent to eat. I'm dying of hunger out here.
What kind of hunter are you then?
A loaf of bread and a fat ham. Then I'll teach you what you want.
He calls himself a hunter, but then he's just here chopping wood and starving to death, apparently.
Here's the food you wanted.
Fantastic. And now?
So we did that for a bit of XP. He teaches you how to take animal trophies, but there's a million different teachers out there who can give you the same instructions. He's also got some stuff that he doesn't mind us taking. Left, right, left. Now, it is interesting that he doesn't mind us robbing him, but I actually think that's a limitation of the game. For some reason, they didn't make tents like an interior zone where people will usually get pissed off at you for taking things. Also, behold this stump here that has a dragon root on it, if you're looking for one of those. And we're right underneath the bridge that leads to Dexter's camp here. Just for reference, we might have seen, or you might experience, some of the bandits dropping down here. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Well, shoot, that was simple. But there's some goodies here. And this camp, which is strangely got a lit campfire despite nobody being here, will actually become occupied later on. We're piling up some pocket change here, which is nice. Normally I'm not doing so well for money this early on in the game, but I think the fact that we specifically did not... Actually... We specifically did not do the Beliar Shrine thing that I usually do. Oh no, Grom, why are you coming at him? He's gonna steal my kill.
Well done. One dirty beast less.
Yeah, nobody asked you to get involved, you
There's
jerk.
another of those
No,
scummy
stop it!
beasts.
See if I can scare him off. Turn around, thank you. I don't know why all these NPCs gotta come and nick my kills. Still think he's too close, though. But you can see the big 10-foot tall hairy fellows he was talking about back there. Yowie. So, you might be afeared of these, and actually if you try and just rush in there like a hero, and deal with them as you think you should, you'll find that they are forced to be reckoned with. They can pretty much one-shot you, and if they don't one-shot you, they're gonna knock you a million miles away, and it's the landing that'll kill you. But there is a trick to these guys, a very simple, ridiculous trick, which proves that it is not a matter of strength, but rather a matter of speed and footwork. But before you rush in there, we gotta let him do his angry growl thing, then get straight behind him. And it's basically the same trick we do with NPCs, only they are virtually incapable of turning around quick enough to deal with you. So it is hilarious. Now, my understanding is that there are certain mods out there that have actually corrected this behavior, or at least added a countermeasure to these trolls. But this is not modded in such a way, so this is a very easy exploit to get some XP and some troll skins, which are actually quite valuable to Bosper. But it is time consuming. Luckily, trolls aren't really the type of monsters that move too much, so you don't have to worry about the one in the back there coming to bear on us before we deal with this one. There, 500 XP, and a troll skin worth, where is it going? 300 gold. Not bad. Worth more than a Shadow Beast skin, which is kind of hilarious considering how much easier they are to obtain. Anyway, we'll just fast forward this bit. I think you get the picture now. And done. And some fine things that we can find out here. We got a rapier, a king's sorrel, leather satchel, stone tablet, and a bow. This rapier is one of the dex-based melee weapons. So again, if you're leveling dex, that's a good melee weapon to use as a backup plan. But as I've stated before, the melee weapons still account for strength in their damage calculation, so it's not really the game-changing weapon that it appears to be. And I don't know which stone tablet it was, because I always lose track well before this point. What else do we got? We got a King Sorrel and a leather satchel. So, that's that. That's all there is to see down here. But absolutely worth the trip. Now, for some reason, Grom disappeared in the live stream I did ahead of this walkthrough. Really can't explain why. Hope he doesn't do it again. He does, it is possible, but unlikely for him to meet his end later on when more dangerous beasts kind of move into this area. Old Greg's probably still chilling up by the fire up there. We'll just leave him be. But I think it's time we move on. There's a farm that we've passed a few times and not really explored. So why don't we pay it a visit? We got one of them stone circles that Nefarious told us to look for. I wonder if this has something that we need. Now, the one that we found at Lobart's farm might give you a false impression of exactly what's going to happen here. Although, if you remember Cavalorn's dialogue, hopefully you're prepared for what comes next. Now you have to be very careful, because you'll notice there's some farmhands out here who have a habit of getting involved in these matters when they don't really need to. So your best bet is to end with the one on this side. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to do this now, because we might be able to deal with this on our own later. Sorry folks, change of plans. We're not going to touch this yet. Instead, we'll wander along here. You'll notice this fellow standing on the road here like he means business. And he means business, as you'll notice if you approach him. Not sure we can deal with him right now, but we'll give it a shot.
So where are we headed then?
Are you the foreman here?
I'll give you one upside the head, you rascal. If you want to go ambling across my land, you'll pay me 5 gold coins, or you're in for a good thrashing.
Are you mad?
Your land? Are you the farmer here?
You can bet on that. Why else would I make you pay me a toll? I don't mind if you go ask the others about me.
Forget it. You won't get anything from me.
Then I'm afraid I'm gonna have to tan your hide.
Come on and try it then.
Well, in that case...
Oh, give me your best, you bastard. Okay, so he has a two-handed weapon. We haven't really fought somebody with a two-handed weapon yet. We're gonna see how it's a little bit different. Basically, you can't rely on a single block to block both his attacks if he does combo. So be prepared to block twice. But we are a little bit faster than him, which means we can usually get a shot in before he does. If he doesn't keep backing away like a coward. Owie. He does outrange us a bit, though. Fuck. Why is he being so hesitant? Actually screws me up when he is. Fuck you. Yeah. Damn it. So I was afraid of... Fuck, I'm like missing the combo and it's really messing me up. Oh, God. Alright, we got him. So he's not the hardest fight in the world, but his crits can make a difference if he's lucky. So we put him down on the ground. We'll give him some time to walk it off.
Hey. How are things?
Ah, a new face here on the farm. Has the old Skinflint finally granted me an apprentice?
I'm not an apprentice.
Oh,
I am to somebody.
I'm not as young as I used to be, you know, and I've been waiting for a replacement for years.
Nobody's
You
as
aren't
young as
here
they used to
because
be.
the neighbors are annoyed, are you?
What's the work you do here?
Oh, I guard the sheep, and I've been doing that for as long as I can remember. The animals are very loyal and very smart, you see. If you treat them well, they'll follow you for a lifetime.
Well, too bad they don't really live that long.
Have you seen any bandits passing through here?
I certainly have. They passed along the edge of the field near Sekob's farm and entered the forest to the north. They were carrying loads of weapons. They looked like they were all set to win the war against the orcs. Well, I'm just glad they stayed away from our farm.
Well, if only they were doing something so noble with those weapons.
What's the trouble with your neighbors?
The grass on this side of the big field is always so stunted and dry, so I mostly go to the big pastures of the other farmers. Ooh, the landowner doesn't mind, but Bengar, the farmer on the high pastures, always makes a big deal out of it when I take the animals up there. He says Sekob should pay if I take his animals onto Bengar's pasture, but Sekob won't spend a measly coin for that, so I can't go up onto the plateau anymore.
I mean, this grass looks tall and healthy from here, but what do I know? I'm no botanist or shepherd.
Where can I find the high pastures in Bengar's farm?
Follow this path and cross the big crossroad. If you stick to the right, you'll see a big outcropping of rock. Behind that, to the right, are the high pastures and the pass.
She actually gives us a kind of shortcut way to get to Bengar's farm, which is the one we used in a previous episode.
Maybe I should talk to Bengar.
You do that for me? What will you tell him? I mean, I don't want any trouble, you hear?
We'll see about that.
That's not very reassuring.
Everything else all right?
Oh, I can't complain. Thanks for asking.
So believe it or not, that's actually the quest that we can miss out on if we are not a mercenary and don't do the bit with the militia on Bengar's farm, which is precisely why I did it the way I did it. If we had chosen to collect the farmer's rent instead, then we would only have the opportunity to complete this quest if we eventually became a mercenary, so we could do the alternative one with the militia.
Well, kiddo?
That's no way for a farmhand to talk to me. Just how often do I have to remind you?
I'm not a field hand.
And what do you want here? We have nothing, so you can just leave right now.
Well, this attitude of yours, I felt so welcome.
Is that how you always treat your field workers?
Of course, they need that. Whoever doesn't toe the line here gets thrashed. That's the way it goes.
Man, such a violent farm this is.
There's this guy who demands a toll from every passerby, claiming he's the farmer.
Yes, I know. That's Bronco. He does whatever he wants. Not that I haven't pounded it into him 1,000 times that he should finally get back to work.
But
He just doesn't do it. My father's quite annoyed with me that I still haven't managed to persuade him to go back to work.
maybe I can help you.
Do you mean that? Okay, listen. If you can get Bronco to go back to work, I'll pay you, shall we say, 10 gold pieces? What do you say?
10 gold pieces. I won't even pay for the blood I lost.
No problem, but I want more money.
All right, 20 gold pieces then.
I want more.
30?
I want more.
Maybe 50?
You'll notice we have two options here, and both of them are the exact same. And no, it's not just a subtitle error. Choosing either of these will end the haggling process. In the vanilla game, before the Night of the Raven expansion, you could continue to ask for more, but if you asked more than, I think, 70, he would make excuses and not end up paying you. So, for whatever reason, it seems like they kind of broke the flag here, intentionally or unintentionally, so you're stuck at only negotiating to 50.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
But hurry up about it.
What? Alright. Well, we already put Bronco in the dirt, but let's see if he's a little more sociable now.
So, still got that big mouth?
Don't beat me, please. I'll even go back to work, okay?
Well, that was simple. Doesn't speak like a man who's been beaten 1,000 times. Something tells me this till is full of shit.
Hey, you! Bronco's back at work.
Really? That's terrific.
Yeah, and now I want my cash.
Well, business is business, right?
Yeah, that's right. Something your father should have taught you.
Hey, you! I need to talk to your father.
He hasn't got time, but I'm his deputy. What can I help you with?
By introducing me to your father.
You're a real tough guy and a good fighter, huh?
The best.
I think maybe I better get him then.
Never mind, boy. I'll find him, I'm sure.
If you say so.
Hey, you! So what do you do when you're not busy playing ruler of the farm?
Stand guard. The filthy militiamen from the city are coming onto our land more and more often and stealing everything they can get their hands on. Only last week the bastards were here, and they took some of our sheep. If I could get my hands on one of them, I'd make short work of him.
But of course.
Well, there's two up on Bengar's farm. Why don't you go deal with them? Get your frustrations out.
Why don't the mercenaries help you against the militia?
Before they even turn up, I've already driven them off.
Sure, and yet somehow they still walk away with your sheep.
Hey, you! Has anyone blown your nose for you today?
Leave me alone, you idiot.
Bah. Typical youngster, young rapscallion, trying to fill daddy's big shoes. Acting like such a tough guy. Now, for some reason, I used to think that there was something in this barn. And there is not. Yet I still look for it. Let's speak with the wife first.
Hey! Everything all right with you?
Well, it's so-so. My back hurts from all this hard labor. What are you doing here? I don't get visitors here all that often. Usually it's either some cutthroats from the mountains or those horrible malicious soldiers from the city. They've been raiding our farm rather frequently lately, but you don't look like you're one of them, or are you?
What are you doing here?
I've been asking myself that for several years. Sekob, my husband, has fallen out with everyone in the area by now. He's in debt everywhere, and so he steals goods from Onar's stocks and sells them in town. By now, he's accumulated a fortune with his underhanded dealings, and he works our field hands until their backs break. His own people call him nothing but slave driver these days. I'm not particularly proud to call myself the wife of Sekob. Believe me, sometimes I wish the barrier were still in place. Would you like to buy something to eat? Or perhaps something for hunting in the forest?
Barrier?
Well, it's the dome that used to enclose the old Valley of Mines. Many of the farmers and workers who committed a crime back then were simply tossed in there, and they never came back.
Have you ever been at the barrier?
No, we only heard about it. Bengar, the farmer on the high pastures, can surely tell you more about that. His farm is quite close to the pass which leads to the Valley of Mines.
How can I get to Bengar's farm?
Go ask Balthazar. He's our shepherd. He sometimes leads his animals to graze on Bengar's pastures up there. He'll be able to tell you how to get there.
Why did the militia attack you on your farms here?
Because there's nobody there to prevent them from simply plundering our farms instead of buying our goods. The king is far away, and we just have to put up with working for Onar and hoping that Onar will send help when we really need it.
What does Onar's help look like?
Sometimes we receive warning in advance when some militiamen are planning to pay us a visit on their own account to rob us. Then we send somebody to the old landowner to ask him for help. And then usually, it doesn't take long for the mercenaries he pays to come here and chase off the militia. But when all is said and done, the mercenaries aren't much better.
Keep your chin up.
Take care of yourself and don't let them get to you.
Oh, I'll try, but first let's see what you got.
What do you want?
So, she inexplicably has some bows and crossbows, and then some bread and water. Don't really know what the bows and crossbows are for. It doesn't look like they employ any, hunters here. Let's have a nap before we speak with Sekob. I'm sure he won't mind.
What are you doing on my land? There's nothing here to steal. Clear off.
Isn't there a piece of land in this blasted country that doesn't belong to anyone?
Go to work. Then maybe someday you can call a piece of land your own. But until then, kindly loaf around somewhere else.
I ain't a loafer.
Listen.
I don't have any work for you at the moment. Now go.
So, yeah. This is the farmer that we would have to deal with if we had taken the alternative mission for the mercenary approval. But since we didn't do that, he really has nothing else for us right now. So, be careful out here. There are some quite nasty things. We got blood flies, which aren't the biggest deal. But, oh boy, there's the goblin skeletons. That's what I don't want to deal with. Crap. I don't... What the fuck? I hate dealing with these things in melee. God, that is ineffective. I have made mistakes. Should have gone a different way. God damn it all. Honestly, the most useful technique against these stupid things. I can barely see out here. You see the torches in the distance? No, that's not what we're looking for. Where are we trying to go? I don't usually come into these woods from this direction. In fact, for that reason, I'm gonna back off and reorient myself. So, Thekla told us about Sagita, the herb witch, who's out in the woods here. She's kind of in that direction, but if you wander too far that way, you see the goblin skeletons. We're still not really quite in shape to deal with them. There's also wargs out there, which is another reason I don't recommend trying to go this way. So we're going to follow the fields here. We got field raiders out there. There's scavengers and wolves in this direction. I'll deal with all these at a later time. Shadow Beast over there. Not a great idea. Is he going to bed? Yes, he is. Good. Okay, how do I usually approach this? For some reason, I seem to have forgotten. Oh boy, the wolves have gone nuts. Well, off they go. That's weird. I don't usually... The wolves... scavengers don't usually fight back with the wolves. But in this case, they did. Got a wild boar out there. I think if we stick close to the wall here, we should be safe. I don't think they'll put us too close. Oh, two wild boars? Shit, I didn't think there were two. Fuck, now there's blood flies, god damn it. God, I do not do much damage to these. Okay. My god. They have no hesitation. Okay. Man, these things suck. Alright, let's stick to the wall here. Remember, if you keep a bow out, you can kind of see what's going... Oh, boy. So as long... Oh, my God. See, I never come from this direction. I don't know what I was thinking. Why am I so confused? This was a mistake. I did not heal. I'm going to die. Fuck off! Alright. Let's rethink this. Doesn't help that I'm reclined so far in my chair I can't actually see the screen that well. Alright, time for a nap. We'll try this again. So the main thing I want to avoid is the shadow beasts, the wargs, and the goblin skeletons. If you want to, you can just use the transformation spell to get in there, but honestly the safest way is really just to go to the tavern. Follow the path that we took with Larry's, and you'll see a way down the hill. And that's the easiest way to get there. Goblin skeletons creeping really close to the farm. Do not like that. Quite a few of them in there. My God, there's one all the way out there too. What the hell? Alright, we're gonna do this the safe way. So, if you'll recall our trip with Larry's, he led us down this road here. There's a shrine there, we got the river up here. And if we head down the hill here, we'll pretty much be right at Sagita's cave. And should dodge any nasty things that could threaten us on the way. Now, the bandits that Balthazar mentioned are where we saw those torches in the distance down there. Can barely see them from here. If you are at Dragomir's camp, you can get to them by going down the hill there. But we are not going to be able to deal with them just yet. We'll put that off for a little while longer. But this is the cave here. Sagita doesn't have much grown in here, so I question where she gets her herbs from. I guess she just is able to waltz out into the woods and not worry about any of the nasty things out there. That would happily make a meal of us, but not on some crazy old herb lady, I guess.
All by yourself out here?
Tell me what you want of me, and then go away. I'm busy.
You sure look like it.
Who are you?
You haven't heard of me then. Herb witch, they say. Quack, they call me. But when they're in a bad way, they all suddenly remember good old Sagita and her healing herbs.
Oh, there's always got to be a weird-voiced witch in these games.
What are you doing out here?
I've been living here for as long as I can remember, attending to my herbs. The forest is my friend. It offers me all that I need.
Does it offer you pink-haired eye as well?
Can you heal me?
That's what you came for, isn't it? Just let me know when there's something wrong with you.
Well, it's quite a trip to come out here just to be healed. I guess if you happen to be out here in the neighborhood and need some healing, it's worth dropping in, but on every other occasion, you'll pass by a bed long before you get out here.
Thekla sent me to pick up a package for her.
Ah, yes. I had actually expected her days ago. Here's the package. Take good care of it.
Oh, I'll take good care of the herb.
Can you teach me your herbal lore?
How interesting. I don't get asked that very often. So you want to be my student? Then you'll first have to prove your request is serious.
That's the wrong your.
I am working on a very rare potion made from exquisite herbs and juices.
Juices.
You can give me one ingredient, a very rare herb, which I don't have here. I shall train you.
Well, I would think if you want me to get you a herb, that means you don't have it, but sure.
What ingredient is that?
It's an extremely rare plant, an herb called sun aloe. You can recognize it by its intensive almond scent.
Almond scent, you say?
Where can I find this ingredient?
The herb I require only grows in places where it can get all the nutrients it needs. These are found in the excrements of a black troll. That's why it's so difficult for me to get the herb, you see?
How am I gonna notice the almond scent when it's buried in shit?
Let's see if I can get hold of it somewhere.
Well then, good luck with your search.
What wares do you have to offer?
Tell me what you want.
So she has your typical healing things. She also has recipes for pure life energy and pure mana. These are interesting because they're the only, I think, told brain fart here. They're the only potions where you don't learn a recipe by, getting it taught to you by a teacher. You actually need this in your inventory to make them, I believe. She also sells red tier peppers. I gotta make sure I get those. Those are essential for a potion in the expansion. So we're gonna need that later. There are 2 of them to get in the game, actually. The other one is from Zurus, and I keep forgetting to get it from him when we're there. Sagita here is actually the only opportunity you will have to learn alchemy if you do not join Constantino and do not join the monastery. And alchemy is quite useful even for mercenaries and paladins, so I would suggest it. Left, left, right, right. Namely, it's the strength and dexterity potions that you're probably going to be interested in. Right, left, right, left, left, right. Fortunately, she doesn't have much in the way of potions to steal, which is strange. But again, even though those are locked chests and stuff, and she could clearly see us having at them, this cave doesn't really count as an interior zone that somebody has ownership of. There's a lot of woofs. I don't really have any spells to deal with the woofs. How effective are short bow arrows against woofs? They worked against the young woofs, but I don't know they're so good against the old woofs. Well, shit. Maybe that won't happen at all. This works as well. Quite honestly, I was just trying to avoid having to fight things just so I didn't have to edit it out of the video later, but guess that's what we're gonna have to deal with. Just because I want to show you the proper way to get here. Or the way I was intending to go, but normally I know what I'm doing. So bear with me as I clear out a path. Okay, so there's actually quite a wide path through here once you clear out them blood flies. Can give the Shadow Beast a plenty wide berth. I do not recommend coming in here at night because the Shadow Beast will see you. Somehow the scavenger's still injured. That's weird. Normally, as soon as they've despawned, their health regenerates.
Nothing there.
Yeah, the wolf even. That's strange. Not sure why those are an exception. And yes, these sheep out here follow the same rules. As long as nobody sees you kill them. Obviously, nobody was too concerned about these sheep, leaving them out in the open like this. You know, maybe this is what happened to all the sheep Pepe thought he lost. They just walked over to this side of the farm. Alright. Rest in peace, sheep. So, we got the herbs. Let's drop them off with old Sagit's, or no, old Thekla. For stew number 2.
Hey, you!
I got the package.
Here's the package from Sagita.
Thanks a lot. So you can make yourself useful after all.
Oh, so you mean like when I beat up Bronco?
Can I have some more of your stew?
All right, I'll be nice then. Here. So you won't starve before my very eyes.
Sweet.
Can I have some more of your stew?
Hey, not so greedy. I'll let you know when I have anything else for you to do, and then you can have more stew. Got it?
So you do get one more stew if you join the mercenaries, and there is one more occasion later on to get stew as well. But, take a peek at this stew. It actually does give you strength. So, it's useful for... I would recommend holding on to those regardless, just to make sure that you only use them when you can't train your strength anymore. I recommend that for just about every bonus, attribute bonus thing that we can get. Alright, well, that was a lot of running around just for a couple stews, but I think that's where we'll leave it today. Wasn't really sure where I was going with this episode, so we didn't end up going very far at all. So, next time, I'll try to have more of a plan. But at least I showed you how to get some stew. So, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch, subscribe to my stream archive channel, links in the description below as always, and we will see you next time. Have a great night.